No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Friday Night Smackdown for July 5th, 2024. We are on the final stop before WWE Money in the Bank 2024, which is Saturday night in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We also have NXT Heatwave on Sunday. But first, SmackDown, the first of three shows in Toronto. We had a tag team title match to main event the show. Let's get started with this SmackDown recap. We had main event Jey Uso, who is part of Monday Night Raw, come into the ring for a promo to hype up Money in the Bank. But before he could say much, he was interrupted by LA Knight. LA Knight said the only word Jey is going to hear is yeah, not yeet. They started to have a yeet and yeah off, and that's when we had an interruption from Carmelo Hayes. He started talking. He was interrupted by Chad Gable. Gable talked. He was interrupted by Andrade. Andrade talked. Drew McIntyre interrupted Andrade. Crowd started chanting CM Punk at Drew McIntyre. McIntyre started taking shots at everybody in the match. The best line was the one he had towards Jey Uso, questioning how did Jey Uso even get across the border? That was a good one. Of course, everybody started fighting. Andrade had enough of McIntyre. McIntyre got the upper hand, but then he was double teamed by LA Knight and Jey Uso. They took turns punching him. The crowd would chant yeet and yeah, back and forth, and then McIntyre was sent out of the ring. LA Knight and Jey Uso standing tall. Now, there's a comment here. If the end of this changed my prediction, the answer is no. I picked Drew McIntyre as my number one for the match, and, well, I'm sticking with it. I was not a big fan of this segment. Anybody who has followed this channel for the past several years know I loathe these interruption assembly lines where one person comes out, then the next person comes out, then the next person comes out. I just very much dislike them because I feel it's overly choreographed. Like they're just standing out there ready to take their turn to go out there and interrupt somebody. Like, come on now. Lazy writing as far as I'm concerned. So I hate to do this because WWE's been on a roll lately, but this segment, letter grade down. Thumbs down to kick off the show. I hate to do it. You hate to see it, but this was lazy. It was a throwaway filler segment. I still miss that one time that we had the Money in the Bank ladder match where everybody was sitting on their own individual ladder in the ring, and you just had like a little face-off. At least that was something creative and a different approach to having these guys smack talk each other before the premium live event. I'm just not a fan of these types of interruption segments. We don't get them that often, to be fair, but I could go with never at this point. I never need to see one again. Bayley was backstage, and she talked about Money in the Bank, how the winner of Money in the Bank should focus on timing. Chelsea Green interrupted her, and that was a distraction. That led to Piper Niven attacking Bayley. And then after the commercial break, Bayley had spoken with Nick Aldis. She got a match with Piper Niven. I guess that's all you have to do to get a match with the champion. Attack them backstage. And then Naomi came over and said she's got Bayley's back. That was later on in the show. We'll talk about that shortly. We had Pretty Deadly versus the Street Profits in the first match of the evening, a tag team match. Standard tag team match. It was really as standard goes. Pretty Deadly got the heat for a while. Montez Ford tags in, does his moves, but then Pretty Deadly regained the upper hand. Dawkins got a blind tag. Dawkins saved Ford from being pinned, and then Dawkins pounced Kit into Elton, and then Montez Ford jumped over the top rope onto both guys. They finished off one of the pretty deadly guys with the Sky High and Frog Splash combo. Not much to say about it. Street Profits win. Just a match. Get these guys on TV. No real storyline progression. Just get these guys on the card. We had Austin Theory backstage talking to Grayson Waller for their tag team title match. And Theory thought about what Johnny Gargano was saying, and Grayson Waller did not appreciate this. Waller said that Johnny Gargano and Theory never won the tag team titles. Theory needs to stay focused on DIY. And Waller said all DIY is trying to do is turn them against each other. We had Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell versus Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Another tag team match, and I believe this was it the Backlash kickoff match? Correct me if I'm wrong. I know it was a kickoff on a recent show. I think it was Backlash. It might have been, was it Backlash or King and Queen of the Ring? I already forgot. But anyways, a match we really did not need to see again. But hey, gotta get Jade and Bianca on TV, and I guess it's something for Candice and Indi to do. We all know they ain't beating Jade and Bianca at this stage of the game. Another standard tag team match, not much to it. They worked over Jade for a while. Bianca got the hot tag. And then Bianca Belair took down Indi with the KOD. Jade Cargill finished off Candice with Jaded. Not much else to say about it. There was a post-match promo, and they vowed to win the tag team titles back from Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, which I could very well see happening. I know Matthew doesn't want to see it, but would not shock me if they win back the titles. I don't know if it's the right time for them to be breaking up and feuding against each other at this point. Another filler match. It was what it was. We had Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton come into the ring for a promo to hype up their match with the Bloodline at Money in the Bank. And the main part of this interview that I thought was interesting was what Kevin Owens said. Kevin Owens brought up his mother being in the hospital and said that he wanted to be there for her, but he decided to do what his mom would have wanted, and that's for him to show up and kick some ass. And he said that he is going to beat the Bloodline's asses worse than ever before. Now, did this potentially change my opinion? That I'm not so sure of. You know, this was interesting that Kevin Owens brought this up. Now you feel sympathy towards Kevin Owens. Is he really going to lose now at Money in the Bank with his mother in the hospital? But of course, he's a trooper. He'll do whatever needs to be done. And there's more on the Bloodline. We'll talk about what Solo had to say here in just a few moments. Andrew thinks KO is going to be beaten into a bloody mess, which, I mean, they could definitely do that to really get some heat on the Bloodline. That's for sure. We had Bayley with Naomi versus Piper Niven with Chelsea Green. Rematch from their championship match. I think it was King and Queen of the Ring. I'm already forgetting which show it was on, but it was a recent title match. Oh, it was Clash at the Castle. Duh, because Piper Niven's from Scotland. I forgot. Anyways, another match we really did not need to see again. More filler. Money in the Bank participants out there, which, I mean, you know where this is going. When they're all standing out there at ringside, come on now. Even Stevie Wonder knows they're all going to start brawling, and sure enough, that's what they did. Everybody started fighting. Tiffany Stratton did a moonsault off the top rope to the participants on the outside, and then back in the ring, Piper missed her big splash. Bayley won with the rose plant. Everybody knew what was going to happen here. Very obvious. And then afterwards, Nia Jax attacked Bayley, and Michin made the save. And they announced Nia Jax versus Michin for next week. Boy, oh boy, I'm going to buy my ticket for SmackDown next week to see Nia Jax versus Michin. There you go. We had DIY cutting a promo to the ring for their championship opportunity. They brought up their history in Toronto, winning the tag team titles. Johnny Gargano made his main roster debut in Toronto. He said it's like a second home. They had their match with Theory and Waller, which got 2 commercial breaks. DIY had the early momentum, dueling dives, but then after the break, Theory and Waller took control, and it was standard tag fare here where DIY got beaten down, namely Johnny Gargano. Ciampa was on the apron, and then he got knocked off the apron, which is another standard moment in a tag team match. But eventually, of course, we get the hot tag. Ciampa comes in. They bust out a shatter machine, maybe in tribute to FTR, but does not end the match. Things then started to break down. They hit meat in the middle on Waller, but Theory was able to put Waller's foot on the rope. I forgot to mention that before the hot tag, what led to the hot tag was when Waller accidentally hit Theory and knocked him off the apron. But despite this, Theory helped out Waller, got Waller's foot on the rope, and the match continued. But then Johnny Gargano put on the Gargano escape to Waller. Theory came back in, attempted to save his partner, but then Ciampa applied the Sicilian stretch to Theory. Double submissions. Waller had nowhere to go. Waller tapped out. We have new tag team champions. No real surprise here. The storyline dictated this. Waller and Theory heading towards a breakup. DIY long overdue for a tag team title run. So this was the best thing on the show by a large margin, as far as I'm concerned. Very strong main event. Great moment for DIY. And now we get one step closer to the breakup of A-Town Down Under. We got the pyro, big victory celebration. If you're going to watch anything from SmackDown this week, this is the match to watch. But it was not the closing segment of the show. We did have a Solo Sikoa video package to wrap us up. And this was very interesting. Solo said that Roman Reigns was not man enough to defend the title successfully and defend the legacy of the Bloodline at WrestleMania 40. And because of that, Solo said Roman can no longer call himself the tribal chief. Solo said he is going to take back the championship from Cody, and if Roman Reigns wants the title back, Roman will have to try and take it from Solo. Solo said he's coming for Cody, and Cody will be the one to acknowledge him. Solo Sikoa as the new WWE champion. This was a good promo, and it almost makes you wonder, is Roman Reigns going to show up at Money in the Bank? I really wasn't thinking that was going to happen, but with this promo, it makes you think Roman's return is close. But I still think you have to do Solo versus Cody at SummerSlam and then have Roman return. Either way, Roman's return whether it's Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. It's July 5th. I think a month from now, Roman will be back. It's just a matter of, is he returning in Money in the Bank, or are they holding it off until SummerSlam? But it's coming. Roman Reigns will be back soon. All in all, I thought SmackDown, until the last 30 minutes, was pretty lackluster. I hate to say it because I've really been enjoying what WWE has put out as of late, but I thought this was a very safe, by the numbers final show. Let's not do anything crazy. We're just going to do our standard segments, basic tag matches. Bayley beats Piper Niven again, totally unnecessary. Interruption segment, brawl with the Money in the Bank participants, no risks, no major storyline advancement. It was skippable until the end. Last match was really good. And then the solo promo I thought was very intriguing to hype up the future storyline with the Bloodline. So because of that, everything before the main event, it would be a C SmackDown at best. But the end brought it up and the solo promo brought it up. I will be very generous here and go B-. Good crowd. Not as good as some of the other international crowds, but let's face it, Toronto is in the regular rotation for WWE live events. WWE stops in Toronto all the time. Toronto gets pay-per-views. It's not like France where it's like, they get their one show and that's it. And maybe they'll be lucky if they get a second premium live event. Toronto's a fairly regular stop for WWE, but they were still a good crowd. But yeah, this was not my favorite SmackDown. I will say that much. However, I did enjoy the last 30 minutes of it. So check out the last 30 minutes. You can forget about the rest. That's my take on SmackDown. We got Money in the Bank. I will be doing live coverage on NoDQ.com. And of course, I will be back afterwards with a recap of the show right here on the NoDQ YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already, NoDQ.com/YouTube, and tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a very long way. It's much appreciated. Tell your friends, have them check out the Money in the Bank recap. And also, I'll be recapping the NXT Heatwave show, and I'll be doing a live stream Sunday night on the NoDQ YouTube channel. Next NoDQ review will be Tuesday, and then we'll be back to our regular schedule here on the NoDQ channel. Have a great weekend, everyone. It is 4th of July weekend. You might be doing festive things to celebrate. Be safe out there. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the shows this weekend. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. Say yes to NoDQ, and I will see you all next time.